It's 9 o'clock. It's pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Does anybody have any open comments before we start today? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move down to approval of the agenda for today's meeting minutes of June 23rd. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, deletions, or otherwise?
I move to approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. President's bad wasting. Approval of payment of the bills. You have the bills in your packet in the amount of $143,837.01. What is the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the bills as issued.
Their microphone's on.
That motion is supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by aye. Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Boskee. Yes.
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 Ivory.
Yes. Motion is carried. Correspondence. Do you have any correspondence? Just town reports. I just have a couple of things. Since our last meeting, we had our CCA annual meeting in addition to our organizational meeting. We had Katie Poniatowski, who was appointed to fill the position of Alex Chavez a couple of months ago following the election. Had to run to maintain and finish the rest of that term. She was successful. In addition, Ernie Monroe, who was on the board, having the Elba Township changed her representative to the CCA board. So that position following that election on the CCA board went to Rob Howland of Burlington Township. Then the organizational meeting, the officer position committee assignment stayed the same as in 2024. I had an EMAP meeting last Wednesday. Routine meeting. Both we had two separate speakers, trainers scheduled to attend that. Both of them confirmed with the time and location, and then each one of them showed up. So the meeting was pretty short and sweet. Tomorrow I have the 911 Authority Board meeting. That's the end of my questions, comments. Treasurer's report.
Wait, what's going on with the accused? Can you get an update on that?
So, as you know, I think I previously reported, we set that up, gave a list of those dates and so forth, and then had no response back from that. And then 2 weeks ago, she contacted me, wanted to know where we're at and that, so we started the process all again. That camera and trailer is booked out, for different events, so they have to get not only the minutes available for that, but then also coordinate with EZ and all the others along with that. I have not had her provided with those dates to forward them to her. We normally give her, like 4 or 5 potential dates. And I have not gotten feedback from the camera that is called. Anything else?
Nope.
Treasurer's report.
I don't have much. Reports are on your desk. We've done
been steady with maintenance for the sewer and tax since they went out. I have had a lot of residents call, as I do every year. Some people haven't gotten their bills yet, so I've had to resend some bills they'll eventually get to. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but they all went out on the 1st. And I do the first payout tomorrow that will include the $250 per parcel set reimbursement for the township. It's going on, pretty steady.
Questions? Along the lines of the mail, here at the Township Hall, we received 2 that came back in one day. Return to sender. One of the mail items was like a W-2 and a tax thing. One of them was sent out December of 24, and it just came back returned. The other one was actually sent out, was it August of 23? August of 23, and we just got a return to sender. And then something we're going to talk about later on the agenda item, economic development, and it's a technicality. It comes from the clerk's office to me as part of the notice, so right across, but it goes through the mail. Mailed out in Lapeer. It went to San Antonio, Texas, where it was postmarked to come back to me here in Lapeer. So I don't know what's with the mail system, but definitely some issues. Clerk's report.
We all had election equipment this week, and I had an email today that.
Could she please move the mic in front of her so we can hear her?
Everybody is, won't be able to order W-2s from the current persons you just moved right now. So,
Questions? Planning Commission.
Meetings next week. I have one. Fireworks displays at Lake Lapeer, Lake Dipsy, both went fine, didn't have any problems, both good shows. This year's budget I had prepared before, in case you do, that building was built in 1974, and we had some problems with cement floor drains. Actually, the drains are now higher than the floor, so we got to cut the floor and fix that. I got budgeted for it, got the quotes, so we're going to turn the guy loose with this Friday. You drive by and you see a cement coming apart in front of the car, all this, it's trying to get those small sections repaired. And then our new ATV is fully in service now, so they're approved from the board to put the 1990 Dodge grass truck up for sale by Seal. We're advertising to bids here.
Because that is township property, it requires township action in order to dispose of it, so he needs his board's approval in order to request bids.
Do you ever put it on an auction site? I know that the auction site for us has been way more productive. And they come, I mean, it's like no fuss, no muss, because they come on site, take pictures of it, they put it on the auction. It's like very easy, but we've been, actually ended up with way more funds from it.
Yeah, I don't care how we sell it. You see here, if you want to do it by auction, we'll set that up.
I'm just saying, we just have much more benefit from it as far as promotion. The seal bid, it's hard to get out there, send out there.
Don't disagree, we just need a motion to authorize the fire department to disperse of it.
Motion to allow the fire chief to sell the brass, 1990 brass truck.
Support. We have a motion and support to authorize the disbursement of decommissioning or sale or disposal of the 1990 Dodge. Further discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. County Commissioner, GLTA, I mean, it's canceled, so
The meeting was canceled just because of lack of agenda items, but one thing that I would like to bring to everybody's attention is this Wednesday is National Rural Transit Day. So if you see one of the buses and or one of the drivers or employees, just please thank them for what they do, because we're out in the public every single day. Even during COVID, we never stop running, so just like to bring it to everybody's attention this Wednesday.
Questions? Thank you. EMS.
It's tomorrow.
All right, brings us down to our agenda items. First is the IDD public hearing. You have your packet, that's all, for Sam, you can spiel on it. Both of these are public hearings, so we'll open up both of those for audience participation, public comment, close those, bring it back to the board for whatever actions need to be taken. Open up the second one. Do the exact same thing and go back to the agenda. So with that, I will open the public hearing for the IDD public hearing at 9:11. Mr. Moore, you have.
So for the, I guess I'm going to talk twice. So for the IDD, that's an industrial development district. Essentially, what's being asked is the establishment of a development district on the parcel that is part of the second public hearing, which is basically by establishing that district, and it allows for incentive package for development, which was the request for the IDD, which is the second public hearing. Pretty straightforward. It's not doing anything for other than just establishing a district that allows us to access to the people.
Kind of expand on it a little bit. I did do a lot of reading and so forth on this, and I didn't really understand this whole industrial district and whatnot. But in real simple terms, this can be as simple as the parcel involved, or it can be an entire area. This particular parcel is on Trade Center Way, which is the road that runs off of like Nepson Road back to our park. What is being proposed is simply for the parcel where this development is going on. So we're not looking at, or they're not proposing, or economic development board is not asking for, proposing to change the zoning on Trade Center Way all to an industrial district. That's the first portion of this.
We're still having trouble hearing you. Can you guys point those microphones at you? I understand with you, Mr. Boskee, but when Mrs. Fountain talks, she talks low, she keeps her head down, and she does not tilt that microphone towards her. Thank you.
So that's the first part of this, is that industrial district to establish that. And this, in case anybody didn't know, this is for the FiberLink building that is approved and under construction at this point. When we get into the IFT, I think we have some more comments on that. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Moore before I open it up to the public for?
Before Mr. Moore, what is the pros and cons for this for the township, if we allow this to happen?
This is more, I think that would go hand in hand, but I think that the IMT is more discussion pros of the township. So at this point, I'll open it up to the public at 9:14 for any public comments related to the industrial development district for this site on Trade Center Way. Only for that particular thing, then we'll close that public comment, bring that for our discussion. So for the public comment, just name and address. Yes, ma'am.
Vicki Wagner, 1962 Hassler Lake Road. I could not hear a word this gentleman said. Did anybody else? So you either need to point the mic to your mouth or turn around and talk to us, because we don't even know what you're for.
Sorry.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is, okay.
And they're as high as they can go. Okay, sir, could you?
I can basically just restate what, essentially what's being asked is the establishment of a development district. All that is specifically for this parcel of property, nothing else, just that parcel. And what that does is it then, once that's established, that does allow for that parcel to then apply for other incentives in the future, which is the second one.
Okay, you're saying down and it allows the what?
It allows to apply for incentives in the future, which there will be the second public hearing, which is asking for an incentives package.
Yes, ma'am.
Cheryl Anderson, 2160 South Elba Road. What exactly is the plan for the parcel? I mean, what's the looking, because it hasn't been stated what the plans are?
Hold on, I'll answer this, because it wasn't back and forth there. I guess that I probably failed in that part. This is for FiberLink. FiberLink is a building, they already exist in Elba Township, and they are building a new facility on Trade Center Way. FiberLink installs fiber optic cables and some other type of things. Ultimately, what this whole process is for is they are asking for a tax break under the IFT system of the state of Michigan for their new building. This is the process for that.
Right, okay.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious if this is even hot. I'm curious about yours or hot, because we can't hear anything out here. I'm guessing you have to get right up on this mic to be heard. Now it's amplified. So, I found out about these hearings last night on Lapeer News and Discussion, I think it was. So I went to the website to try to learn more about them, and I could not find anything on the website that said there was a public hearing today. Your public notices folder is empty. There was nothing on the homepage. So I'm concerned about why we couldn't find anything about this on the website. Susan Huff, here now.
Anybody else?
How many people will it employ?
We'll get to that. All right, we'll close that portion of the public hearing for the IDD and bring it back to this board for discussion. Pardon me? Oh, I'm sorry. This one's 9:18. All right, so this is going to kind of they blend together, if you will. They go hand in hand, and so a lot of the questions for the first one and the second one, but it is just the legal process of 2 public hearings. So, discussion of this board. Anybody have any questions, comments? No, they can ask them. So I'll try to answer whatever I can, and then if not, I would ask Mr. Moore.
So I take it on the application, it's only for a certain period of time, but it does say estimated.
So that is for that's why I say the intermingle, that's for the IFT portion.
That's for the second portion.
Yes, so that's the overall reason for this whole thing is they're asking for a tax break. And it has a limited number of years, 10 years, 12 years. 12 years is the maximum that they can ask for. And this is information going for the next public hearing. This board can grant any number of those years, turn it down completely, grant it for, and at the same thing, this board has the ability to grant the percentage, not just what they ask for. It can be any amount up to that or lower to that.
So once we establish the IDD, then it is I mean, it would be under that category for everything. Now, as far as the tax exempt portion, that would be something that would be, have the restrictions as far as state.
No, the industrial development district can also be rescinded and changed. I didn't know that I had to, that's my big practice. So it is not forever if this rescinded at a later date. However, correct me if I'm wrong, if the IFT is granted for, say, 5 years, we couldn't rescind the development district, the industrial development district prior to that 5 years. It would have to be after that 5 years that it could be rescinded. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Barely. Pull that thing up, Tim.
Okay, I'll,
Getting closer.
couple little questions. I'm not supposed to do a meeting, but other than what I've read so far. What's the name of this place?
Fiber link.
That's the name. And the specialty of this building is going to be what are they for?
They install fiber optic cabling. Fiber optics that go, for the internet and for that's what their business is. Among some other things, there's some like, I don't know, the junction centers and so forth, but basically it's installing fiber cable.
Okay, so we're looking for a spot zoning.
There's no change in the zoning. So for us, and I'll give my spiel that I've already heard. We already have a couple of these in the township. The pallet factory, DT Fowler, when they built their new facility, they were granted an IFT. That's one. The only other one that we have is when Kapala Heating and Cooling built their new facility. They were also granted an IFT. And Ms. Bales here brought the question, what is the benefit for the township? The benefit, and I'm going to say this as them, not me. The benefit to the township is we are constructing a new building, which of course is taxed and has its tax base, and that we are going to bring X number of jobs to your community, and we are providing a asset for, if you will, something that is utilized by your community. That's the generic, what does it bring for the township? In the case of like DT Fowler, they were already in the township, have been in the township since the 50s, but they were building a whole new facility branching out. I think their new facility is much larger even than their original one, and with that was X number of jobs. In the case of Kapala Heating and Cooling, they were located outside of Elba Township. They had an existing business in Lapeer Township, or maybe they were in the city of Lapeer at that point. I remember being 4 years ago.
Sorry about it.
And their thing was the same thing. They were building a new building in Elba Township, the value of that building, and then they were also, bringing X number of jobs. Of course, those people have to eat and, fuel up their vehicles across the street, etc. And then this is a similar thing with Kapala and DT Fowler, except, and I'm getting into the IFT portion now. They are in the township currently, and they're actually looking to downsize, if you will, their operations. They are currently located in the Immingham Mercantile Building, as some of us might know it. And at one point, they owned and occupied that entire building. Currently, they are renters, they sold the building and they rent out a portion of that, and they would like to get out from underneath that rental thing and buy their own building again. So it'll be a new building, which of course has a taxable value, but I don't know so much about the creating new jobs. Otherwise, I think that they propose for creation of new jobs. So,
Sounds like, I think you mentioned earlier, along with what you're doing, but they're also asking for a tax break.
that's the whole purpose of this.
Tax break.
Yes, that's the whole purpose.
Why should we do that?
For the reasons that I just, again, stated, that the reasons I just stated, that they are building a new commercial building which has taxable value. They're bringing revenue into the township with the value of that building, as well as creating jobs, which supposedly helps the community as well.
That's good. And the fact that they're building jobs and they're hiring people, that's a small benefit to them as a business, I would think. I don't agree with the fact that you should give a tax break. This business, just like any other business, they're gonna hold it up and they're gonna have ups and downs and everything else. I don't personally, I miss agree with you on the tax break. The whole thing is based around this tax rate. I think there are other reasons. No, I don't agree with it. That's just my opinion.
And just, it's in your package, but just for the board, the total cost of this project is $719,000.
Yeah. They knew that when they started, they did not.
Actually, not, this really has anything to do with this public hearing, but just again, it's a board's thing. They actually appeared before the planning commission a couple of years ago with a site plan and went through the process, and the site plan was approved. And they wound up not constructing the building, and now it's surpassed that a year and a half where they had to re-go through the site plan process again, which they did with a slight reduction in what was approved a couple of years ago.
Did we offer a tax break then?
They didn't. This is the first time they applied. And they never built anything, so.
Yeah, I just respectfully can't just think tax break is too much out of the question. In my opinion, every other business that taxes on what they are, what they make, they need to do the same thing, unless it's considered a overtime business without pay taxes. That's just my comment.
Anybody else have any questions, comments?
So the first order was just to create this.
Please talk into your
Industrial
mic.
Development District. Creation that they have to have in order to be eligible for the IFT, the tax break. In order for them to even apply for that, the first part of that is creating this industrial development district.
Okay.
So that is what this first is. Without the first part, the second part is.
And even though we're using, I mean, it's a word district, it's only on this specific parcel, it's not.
Correct.
It's not the whole road.
Correct. And I guess I really hung up on the initial thing, industrial development district. I was thinking, what's industrial about this? And actually had set a meeting with Mr. Moore to walk and talk through this. In the meantime, I've been on the state website and downloaded the information and frequently asked questions and so forth. And the state of Michigan has some pretty loosey-goosey rules with industrial. indoor recreational facilities and entertainment arenas, with a seating capacity of a lot of different things that clearly are not industrial, as most people think. All right, any other questions, comments? That's our first decision, is whether or not to create the IDD. I've explained. If anybody has any other questions, that's the board's pleasure.
Not difficult. I'm sorry for the answer.
I just need a motion of some sort. Anybody? Everybody shy here?
I guess before I make a motion, I guess I would like, how many actual employees does Fiberlink employ?
Sam, do you know?
They currently have 11 employees.
Pardon me?
They have 11 current employees, and the intent is to add an additional 4 full-time employees.
Wow. That's not much.
And out of the 11, how many are local employees to Lapeer County?
That I don't know. I had to clarify that.
Because to me, that has bearing. I mean, out there in that area, yes, there's CMH gas station, but other than that, there's really not much. They're gonna be out on the road, I would imagine, doing their job, so they're not really, going to just be there at the facility. So that doesn't mean that they're buying their lunch in Lapeer County, that they're spending their money in Lapeer County, not just Elba alone. So I guess myself, I just have not seen any difference at this point that would benefit us as Elba Township. I understand the additional employees, but what are they going to bring to our community without having that information? I guess at this point, my motion would be to deny the request.
To what?
Deny the request.
We have a motion to deny the IDD designation. We have support.
I second.
We have a motion and support. Is there any other discussion? Questions? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote.
Ivory,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Boskee,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Fountain, yes, Lintz,
Yes.
Dreier,
Yes.
The motion has passed. It negates the reasons for the next public hearing. However, it is a stated public hearing, and so we will open this and go through that process the same thing. So at this point, I will open the public hearing for the IFT request at 9:34. If anybody in the audience has any comments, questions about that, state your name and address.
Debbie Stewart, Levine, 5865 Genesee Road, Elba Township. What does IFT stand for? That's my only question.
Industrial.
Facilities tax exemption, industrial facilities tax exemption.
Okay, thank you.
And again, industrial facilities, and it doesn't mean industrial facility. I don't understand. Yes.
Cheryl Anderson, 2160 South Elba Road. Beverly, you know, if you would, you know, in the future, if you want to do this, maybe if you were employing some of our handicapped people, residents in our community, I think that this might be, but, you know, sorry, but I don't see how it's, how it would benefit us to give you a tax exempt.
Clarify, he's not with them.
Oh, okay.
He is simply the director of the economic development.
Okay.
It goes to his office.
Okay, yeah, it might be something to let them know, I mean, if they have a benefit to the community, like our handicap or something, that this might go further, but, you know, a tax exempt for, you know, doesn't necessarily specify other than, I mean, we all want a tax exempt.
Anybody else? Then I will close the public portion at 9:36 and bring it back to the board for their resolution. This should be a pretty simple one. You can have one without the others. Anybody have any additional comments, questions? Otherwise, I need a motion for that as well.
Make a motion to deny.
I'll support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Deny the IFT request by Fiber Lake. Again, say public hearing, so it's a roll call
Dreier,
Yes.
Ivory,
vote. Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Boskee,
Yes.
Yes.
Brown, yes. Lintz,
Yes. The motion is carried. C, ADA grant bids. Have in your packet, a quote. Basically, this is a grant opportunity for the township. I don't know what the agent works office is. I don't know what, who is it that is? State of Michigan.
taps the MLC.
District design files. For ADA compliant doors, for the township hall. It's a grant of up to $10,000 per municipality. We are going through the process and have gotten some different bids and so forth in order to do this, but time is kind of of the essence, if you will, just to apply for it. So that, I mean, if you have any further explanation or comments or
Talk before three people look at it, only one bid so far. This guy was $5,000 because you gotta fix that door, and then $4,500 for openers on the other two. Another guy that was here, but I don't have his bid, was $2,200 per opener. It was a huge difference. The other guy wanted to replace the doors, not fix them. The two of them said you use the same doors. We also need a bid from the electrician to bring the electricity out there. We can apply as soon as today. I need these two bids to apply, but I really don't want to take this one anyway, so.
that's the hybrid, which is still more of a grant amount, but a little bit of a background too for everybody. The doors are hitting on the threshold, and so that was the concern. Anybody who's out of Fort Pickle in previous years, door hinges wear out, the door sag down, you can snag Fort Pickle doors. And that's what I thought it was. We didn't need all new doors. CCA, we had replaced all the doors, the frames, everything. Door people came out and they said, no, it's just the pins. We can utilize the doors that we have here. So that's a substantial savings. I wanted to say that just the doors at CCA, but we replaced all of them, was like $11,000, $12,000. So we like the $2,200, $4,000 a whole lot more.
So what door, it's gonna be the one front door and then the one going into the office? Will that work as well?
We can do from this one as well.
And this one, so
And
it's,
this one as well?
yeah, it's the front door, so a person coming in paying taxes goes into the front or whatever, or a person attending this meeting would come this way. It's all in front doors and then either one of them, we get them ADA push button.
So technically three of them in the lobby.
Correct.
Okay. But you're saying you don't wanna act on this one, Rena?
I don't wanna take this bid.
We don't want to take this
I
bid.
get the other bid this afternoon, I can apply as early as today.
We need to apply for the grant. So from this standpoint, the board would need to authorize the clerk's office to apply for this grant. Okay. With that paperwork, we would send in the different bids, and then we would then come back and to award that bid for whichever contractors. Since the highest bid, we don't know it, is still lower than the grant dollar amount.
If we, excuse me, can we hold this over till the next meeting? My reason for that is we need time over there.
No.
But the fund had already been expended.
Yeah.
So you're just looking for the approval to apply for the grant, not necessarily,
Award a
award a contract at this point?
Even if we apply for the grant, doesn't mean we're gonna get it.
Correct. So the answer is to your thing, let's say that we don't get the grant at all, then that would be a separate issue for this board, whether or not we wanted to pay for that.
That's not me.
But we need to have the authorization to apply for the grant.
I make a motion to be able to apply for the state of Michigan grant for the ADA doors, accessibilities. I would just, I know that this probably from what you're thinking at this point, but I think until we get all the bids, we don't want to necessarily say, I don't want this bid. I think we should wait until we get all the bids to be able to look at them. And because this might technically be the only bid that you have, so.
In the grant process, I have to cover what would be my preferred bid.
Yeah.
So,
Right, I'm just saying that, I
when
think
we're done this, we need to spend money to get that front door fixed. You walked out of the last meeting and the door wasn't locked, because it never shut. She walked out right behind you, the door never locked, because you didn't turn around. You have to turn around and physically push it shut.
That's what it's hanging up
It's hanging out.
on the threshold.
So if you don't turn around and push that door shut completely,
we weren't the last ones out.
you weren't, but you walked out and the door was closed, and I had already locked it, I was standing there, and I had to go back and push it shut. Same thing when she walked out.
Right.
I'm just saying,
Right.
the police walk in and out here tonight, you might get your packet, whatever. Our hall is being left open because people don't know.
Yeah, if I'm the only one, I do turn around and check it.
But if people don't know, it could be left unattended. So,
I mean, that was before I knew the door was working, but I always turn around and do check just because, but,
the guy.
the ADA isn't gonna fix our, so this grant is not going to fix our
An
doors.
additional $500.
It does. The included in these bids is also fixing our doors.
Right, but I'm saying if we don't get the grant, we would still have to just fix the doors, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
This guy wants $500 for the new bid.
Correct.
The other guy indicated it would be about $240.
So let's say that we don't receive the grant, then it comes back to this board. Comes back to the board, do we want to spend, X thousands of dollars to pay for and do the ADA ourselves with no grant dollars? Or do we not want to do that and spend this much to fix the doors so they don't get?
But at this point, we're just looking to do the motion that I said as far as being able to apply for it. I just made a caveat that, I understand this is not the preferred one, but I think we just have to, be mindful that it might be our only one, so we're gonna have to just be careful saying that. So, but I am all for applying for the grant for the ADA accessibility doors.
Well, here's
So it would be above and beyond the.
So here's a caveat. Friendly. How about if we make the motion, just to see why ourselves, that the grant application that she's authorized to submit does not exceed $10,000.
Correct.
That's
Fine.
Anything else? Right. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next is Hack's Junkyard License, our annual renewal. Anybody have any questions about that? It's all about the 67. It's the board's pleasure.
I make a motion we grant the grant with Axel regarding.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported to authorize the Hack's Junkyard license renewal. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is budget amendment in your packet for our insurance. The Decker bill was higher than budgeted for. So we need a fund balance of $6,200 from our fund balance, UPA adjustment, taking $6,200 from our fund balance for the budget.
We got that.
So that's our fund balance. Comments, questions?
Make a motion to increase the fire insurance budget by $6,200 as presented.
Motion's been made and supported. Questions, comments?
Do we go out for bid on this? That just seems a little high. So I guess what all does this cover? I guess I never looked at.
This is everything. This is our liability. This is our fire. It is everything. This is our sewer systems. This is our insurance carrier.
So it doesn't cover because the fire has their own, correct?
This is the
This covers the fire
The fire department is Elba Township.
is part of this.
Yeah, so this is our buildings, this is our trucks, that's their equipment air packs, that's our sewer grinder pumps, that's our liability insurance, that is our cyber insurance, that is our insurance company.
And the parking is not, we kind of.
This is the company.
Oh, Decker insurance.
Decker is the insurance agency.
Okay.
The car plan is our insurance.
Is the car plan.
Correct. I guess I should have explained that. What's the board's pleasure? Oh, I'm sorry.
We already made it.
So you throw me off my game, and
Sorry, it's not like I can ask questions about that.
anything else? All right, it's a budget amendment, so it requires a roll call. Yes.
Dreier,
Yes.
Ivory,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Boskee,
Yes,
Dreier,
Yes.
Fountain, yes.
that motion is carried. Next is ZBA appointment. We had a resignation from our ZBA. Unfortunately, it's a great loss for the township. Our chair, Sean O'Brien, is actually from the township. So he's not eligible to serve on the ZBA, he's not living here. And so that created a vacancy. And I would like to nominate Mr. Tom Meldrum, gentleman sitting here with Peter. He is a familiar face. Most of you know he's attended our meetings and has shown an interest in attending, or actually a position on the ZBA as well. Probably didn't know Tom, but I've got to know him from his attendance here as well as county commission meetings and everything else. He is politically active in attending these, and so I met through an interview process, and I would like to nominate him for open position on the ZBA. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I did some research, and I also would like to see about making a nomination as well. I know historically that has always came from the supervisor position, but when doing some research, it is statutory that the supervisor makes a recommendation for the planning commission. But as far as any other board, another member of this board can bring a nomination to the table as well. Though I 100% love and support Tom, I would definitely like to see about nominating Bruce Miles to be thought of in that position as well. The reason being is that I feel he would be fair. Even he's demonstrated during the time of what we've been going through, that even if the board, yes.
Stop me there.
Yes.
Actually interviewed him and wanted to do that, and he responded back, he declined.
He did decline, but I have talked to him, and he said he would love to have this opportunity to work on the ZBA. I feel he's very knowledgeable. I feel he does his homework, and I feel he's fair. So I feel that he would be somebody that would be supportive of Elba Township, and whatever the issue is, to be a fair candidate to put on this board for the ZBA. Like you said, I feel he's very knowledgeable to be able to do it. I also had a conversation with Mr. Drum as far as what my thoughts were as well, so he understood that. And not that I want to take anything away from Tom by any means, but I do feel that even when during the hearings and meetings, that after the meeting, Mr. Miles has been very respectful to all of the board members. He comes up and shakes their hand, even if they go opposite of what he feels that they should do.
I guess that would be the same thing there. I actually reached out to Mr. Miles months ago, and we went through that, and my last correspondence with him is, that he doesn't want to be a part of that, so that's what I have to go on. I anticipate openings here at the end of this year with other board members, and so if Mr. Miles is still interested at that point, I would certainly entertain.
I do have an email correspondence that he did say that he would definitely love to be inserted on the board. If you want to look at it, I can pull it up.
Yeah. I will, same thing, I have where he doesn't want to, when he does want to, when he doesn't want to, that's
Right, but his latest correspondence that I just received, I think it was Saturday this weekend, after I got the board packet. I just felt with his knowledge, I feel we would be remiss not to put somebody that was willing to be able to do it and serve on that board. I feel it is one of our, the planning commission and the ZBA is a very important board for us to be able to put somebody, and we would be remiss if we didn't put somebody with that kind of knowledge, and I believe the community would support that as well.
Yes, sir. I look like you have a
Second, he's willing to run for and with respect to you, I had to definitely vote for him.
right. this is throwing a new thing in, what I normally do. Do we have any other nominations? In these, we don't have secret ballots or otherwise, so this is an open casting of. And so we just have those two. We'll start with the different votes. And so first one, all in favor of. Oh, I'm sorry.
Qualifications found?
Very little, other than being,
What did you do in the past, anything?
sorry?
What have you done in the past?
Oh, I'm a program manager for an automotive, tier 1 automotive supplier, and now I'm retired. But I'm good at organization and details and digging into this particular topic, which fair to say, I told Kelly, this would be my first time, but I'm willing to put in the effort to help establish Elba Township in the manner that the community would like it.
I can't say for Mayor Miles is not here.
Yeah, so it's, in all fairness, I mean, Mr. Miles also would be his first political type thing. It's a community interest and so forth. I just, at this particular moment, I feel comfortable with Mr. Meldrum. Hasn't been back and forth. He's, as you know, everybody who attends these meetings, is a pretty familiar face. And as far as the friendliness and shaking hands and everything else, I mean, it's the same exact thing here. So we have two kind of equal candidates. And as I said, I have interviewed Mr. Miles before, comfortable with, but then he withdrew, and he's interested again, and then, apparently he's interested again. So with that, we will start off the voting. All in favor of Mr. Meldrum's appointment to the ZBA? Do we want to do roll call or? All in favor of Mr. Meldrum's appointment to the ZBA, raise your hand. All in favor of Mr. Miles' appointment to the ZBA, raise your hand. Congratulations, Mr. Meldrum.
And I talk really loud, so Vicki, you're going to be able to hear me.
All right. Brings us down to our public time. Now it's public time as normal. Anybody who wishes to bring anything before the planning commission, general board.
Vicki Ware, 1962 Hassel Lake Road. I get the feeling that some of you guys despise the microphone. Ms. Fountain, we cannot hear you. You have to remember, you are an elected official. We come to these meetings to hear what's going on. We don't come to these meetings for a bunch of mumbling. So if you guys would please use your mic. Katie, you do a wonderful job. Kelly, you do a wonderful job. Tim, you're getting it. The rest of you guys, you don't. You talk with your hand in front of your mouth like this and nowhere around your mic. We can't hear what you say. We want to know what's going on. That's all I got to say.
Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Karen Brochet, and I live in the county. See, this with a mic, you've got to put it within inches of your face. And this room has really terrible acoustics. That's why you've got these panels. I can see you're aware of that. The last meeting I came to, I could barely hear anything, and I'm not hard of hearing. I couldn't hear Ms. Fountain at all. And so the fact that you've got mics, you're aware that you have a problem, you need to learn how to fix this. This is not rocket science. It is not. I did events for a lot of years of my life. You can figure this out. But the public needs to be able to hear you. And it seems like maybe some of you up here are unaware of your Title II obligations under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And I'm going to tell you, even if someone hasn't put in a specific request, you still need to make sure the public can hear what you're saying. I encourage each and every one of you up here and everyone on all of your boards in this township to take an ADA class so you can learn what those responsibilities are, and you can all meet them. Because it's quite frankly really disrespectful when people have specifically pointed out to you that you need to put the mic in your face, and then you don't. You can do better than this, and I want to encourage you to. Thank you.
Susan Huff, Lapeer County. As a former public school teacher, I probably don't need the mic. But I would like to talk to you for a few minutes about the library. Most of you are aware that in 2023, we had a group of citizens that tried to remove or restrict access to materials in our Lapeer District Library. They did this because they personally found them objectionable. They were unsuccessful. 4 of those folks have since made their way to the library board. Library trustees have a fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of the library in all matters, but especially in financial matters. These 4 trustees appear to be putting their personal interests in front of the interests of the library. In March, those 4 trustees fired the library's law firm after receiving a legal opinion they didn't like. Then they hired a local firm, a generalist firm, saying that they wanted their tax dollars, the library's tax dollars, to stay local. In the first 3 months since they retained that attorney, that firm has billed the library $14,480.53. $9,000 of which relates to researching, which means learning what the previous lawyer already knew, library law and FOIA procedures. Many of the additional charges appear to be related to the personal interests of the chair. Now, if you look back at the budgeted amount for the year for legal services was $4,800, and it was based on the expenses from that previous attorney for the past years. It only took those 4 board members 5 minutes to discuss and move $20,000 into the legal services line for a total that is 5 times what was budgeted. And they didn't even ask why the bills were so high. Then in June, the same 4 trustees who wanted our tax dollars for law services to stay local, they voted to send our tax dollars to the left coast when they blindly chose a California firm over 2 Michigan firms. I say blindly because the vice chair who recommended this firm couldn't really tell us much about it. And he said he couldn't even remember who he talked to, but all 4 of those members, they just voted yes. So from where I sit, it feels a little shady. What's clear to me is that the Michigan firm, Michigan firm Pivot would have cost no more. And if they had hired the Pivot company, it would have cost them $6,500 less, only the cost of advertising. Those 4 trustees are pursuing personal interests with our tax dollars, which is a breach of their oath and is a breach of their fiduciary duty. And I can tell that this board takes fiduciary duty very seriously from the things that I've heard here today. So I hope that you will accept these packets, which have all the public documents in them that back up what I said. It's not just my imaginings. And I do have some extras if there's anybody here who would like to take a look at those documents and see what's going on. Thank you for the time.
Anyone else?
Debbie Stewart, 5865 Genesee Road. In conjunction with what we just heard, I have not changed my library card from Genesee County to Lapeer County because I am not in favor of book banning. There is, why should, and I know you guys are affiliated with Lapeer County, why should the library tell me what I can't read? I was handed a book when my daughter was a junior in high school by the English teacher, asking me to read it and give him my honest opinion. It was Brave New World. I read a lot. I came back on Monday, I read it over the weekend. He said, what did you think? I said, well, after reading it, I says, yes, I feel my daughter as a junior could read this book. I says, to me, it was a futuristic science fiction. But I said, you're gonna get some drawbacks from other religious affiliates. And I says, my suggestion would be to have an alternate book for that child to read. I says, I do not approve of book banning. That takes us back to World War II. You all know what I'm talking about there. No book banning is the same as, book banning is the same as book burning. And I feel that she has hit the library problems on the nose. We've got a group of 4 people that are telling us what we can read and what's of interest to them. Today, yes, we can go on the internet and find what we could find. But back in 1989, 90, 91, 92, there was not that ability. And I feel all children, if it's approved by the parents, who are they as 4 people to tell us our children can't read that? It's up to us as parents to make that decision and communicate with the teacher. Yes, there can be a separate room that's adult reading. I'm not talking pornography, I'm talking a subject. And this was, to me, a futuristic book that had no business being banned. And that was just an example. I'm also in the middle of reading a book about an Indian, can't think of the name of it, it's an Indian set back before the English came. And that book has also been banned. So I just want you to listen to what this lady said, because I will keep my Genesee County Library card and not transfer it to Lapeer County. And I live just around the street from Elba Township Library. And I will not change to Lapeer County. That's my protest. Yeah, I know it's liminal and probably means nothing to anybody else, but I read a lot.
Anybody else? All right, hearing and seeing no one, I'll close public time. Guess to answer your question here with the acoustic, you're right, this place is horrendous and has been horrendous since the day it was built. And that's why we have panels and otherwise. The only other recommendation that they have was soft covering carpeting of the floor. Go that route. I don't know what else to do about it typically. My voice, I've never had anybody tell me they can't hear me. I've got some things going on right now, but otherwise, I don't think that it's an intentional thing. This is something new with us, and quite honestly, we just haven't gotten used to it. I forget that they're there. They're not obtrusive to me. I just forget they're there because just in 20 years have not had them prior to, so we'll try to do better with that. Other than that, we went through the agenda. If anybody have anything else, I'll declare the meeting adjourned.
Okay, so now what?
Let me turn it on really quick.